everyone. I'll be talking about Lee Sin, its first H2-torial in the new jungle, so listen closely. His Lee Sin early game, you have to create a lot of pressure because he has a lot of impact on the early game fight. He is probably one of the best fighters you can pick, and that means you can win almost any skirmish, 2v2, 3v3, and pretty much almost any fight 1v1. In the early game, you kinda want to start red buff or blue buff depending which lane you want to gank first, and then you kinda want to try level 3, level 4 gank. If it doesn't work, you probably want to stick farming until level 6, and then you can try a repeat gank. If the guy has no flash already, it's pretty much a free kill with QW. And that's pretty much the whole early game with Lee Sin. You just want to try a lot of ganks after 6. Before 6 you can try 1-2 ganks. If they don't work though, you have to stick farming until 6. Overall, the biggest thing with Lee Sin is that if you get this skill level 3, level 4, you can snowball so fast and get level 6 so fast, you can create a lot of pressure. When it comes to Lee Sin mid game, I think he is still tanky enough to make opponents hesitate in teamfights a lot, because you can't really kill Lee Sin in teamfights as long as you think a lot about what's your closest way to escape and what can you do to make your opponents focus you but at the same time don't kill you. It's very good. And then obviously you can always go for the insect kick as long as you feel like you can get it. If you go for it, I wouldn't recommend going carelessly. You can always peel for your allies pretty much with the same skill. You know, you don't need to go all in, you don't need to kill the guy for no reason. You can always try to peel back, you can always try to kick whoever is in front of your carries instead of going for the kick. But overall, Lee Sin in mid game is basically either you flank and you try to kick someone into your team for a free kill, either you peel for your team and you want to kinda kick someone outside of your team, and then you tank as much damage as possible without dying and doing some damage as well as Lee Sin. When it comes to Lee Sin late game, I think there is not much you can do anymore. I mean, you are still tanky enough to not die, but your damage scales really low. In the late game, I would recommend to try to kick tanks into the carries, simply because you can do so much damage with it and it can still impact the teamfight a lot. Overall, Lee Sin late game is pretty tough. You want to do similar things to mid game, but everything is much harder. Try kicking the tanks into the carries, overall peeling for your AD carry, using locker, doing whatever you did build, and just try your best to not make your allies die. Tips and tricks on Lee Sin, there is not so many of them. I think everyone knows the famous kick. One thing I can say is that you can E-flash, like you cast E and then you instantly flash, so you can E someone and when he doesn't expect it. And then it's the same with kick flash, you can kick and then you can flash behind your opponent, which is like much faster than normal flash behind and kick. It doesn't always work, it's pretty hard to master for people that just started, but I think if you master it, it's way better than normal flash E or flash R. It's just faster, it has no animation whatsoever. Remember, you can dash over the walls easily, you can always escape. If you invade enemy jungle, you can always find a safe route. As long as you save your W, you can always find a safe route to escape, exit the enemy jungle without dying. So I would always recommend trying to play Lee Sin this way, to try to play really aggressively, and then you can always have an escape path. That's why he was picked so many times on World Finals. He's a champion that always can do something. He always has impact on the game, he can always make the difference. He's a champion you can pretty much always blind pick. Right now in new jungle, I would say he is the best jungler out there. So if you guys didn't pick him up yet, I would do it right now. I think you can get some sweet juicy LP for free pretty much playing Lee Sin right now. I would play with Thunderlord for some extra damage, for some extra burst, and overall, yeah, just try to play as much aggressive as you can in the early game, as long as your laners allow it. Don't just blindlessly go into enemy jungle and die for no reason. I would pick Lee Sin pretty much into everything except for Elise. I think Elise is the hardest matchup for Lee Sin right now, but I also think that you can outscale her. As long as you get level 6 and you don't die to her and you don't lose a lot of pressure and you are at level 6, you can pretty much do anything you want from there on. So the worst Lee Sin like matchups are the ones where he can get like 1v1 early game, or he loses 2v2 because of the like Olaf, Elise. Like those champions are pretty strong into Lee Sin, but as long Song, as you get level 6, I think you can one-shot most of them, except for Olaf, but you never need to fight Olaf. Olaf is a champion that needs to chase you, you are Lee Sin, you are super mobile, you don't need to fight him. I think when you are ahead, you should try to build a little bit of off-tank damage. I think when you are ahead, you can get Edge of the Night or Black Cleaver. You can try to pretty much one-shot the carries with those items, so if you are ahead as Lee Sin, you will get 2-3 kills in the early game. Just go for the damage, don't go full tank because you will get outscaled pretty fast then. I think off-tank is way better. I think getting one damage item on Lee Sin early game is super important. I think it can win you the games. I think if you get it, you can make huge impact in the early game fights, in the mid game fights. So if you are ahead, don't hesitate to build a bit of damage, which gives you HP a lot. Don't just recklessly build Duskblade or something like this. Just try to stick with Black Cleaver, Edge of the Night or Hexdrinker, and then afterwards you pretty much go full tank with Deadman's Blade, GA and HP items. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something from me. Right now, you know, it's new season for jungle. I think there's a lot of changes going on. I think Lee Sin is one of the best junglers right now. I think he doesn't lose HP in the jungle, which is pretty huge for the early game. So folks, go play some Lee Song and show the world, you know.